Take one.
You're watching the Questionnaire podcast.
What can they say?
You are checking out the Questionnaire.
What's your name again?
The Questionnaire.
Would you like to have questions?
I don't got it. I'm not that guy.
Submit yourself.
Super fun and entertaining.
This is the Questionnaire.
Survival. Yeah! That's what the quest is about, ladies and gentlemen. Continuing. Going forward. That's life. Because life itself is a quest. And sometimes, something happens, and then you gotta, redo something. And I ain't gonna say that ain't happened a couple times in the span of the Questionnaire. I mean, it might even have happened once with the PanCon. That one sucked, right? When the PanCon didn't record, we got a heck of a PanCon coming up on the very next episode. I want you all to tune into, man. It is stacked. Ross Ritchie. I flipped his name. I always thought I would do that. Shiro, how you doing besides getting ready to kill me for having you make all these crazy graphics coming up? But yeah, don't put Rich Rossi, put Ross Ritchie. See, because Rich Rossi, that's yeah, I swear, man, I don't need it. Don't do it. Don't do it, Shiro. Alright, for real. But him, Mark Bagley, Mark Allen Fishman, Larry Stahl, and Eric, I ain't pronouncing Eric's last name. I swear. I mean, him and Fabian are gonna have
Cherry.
Huh?
All's Cherry.
It's his last name is not All's Cherry.
It's his artist name. It's easier. That's why my name is Shiro, because my full name is hard to pronounce for English people.
Fair point. Yeah, but I'll tell you what. So we got that coming up. It's going to be phenomenal, right? Oh, it's going to be a stack. We're going to talk about crossovers, miniseries, and the history, evolution, and de-evolution of comics. I'm going to come up with a better title before that episode actually comes out, so you don't have to type all that out on a flyer. But real quick, before we start the show, check out this word from our sponsor, Studio Comics. We need to restart this whole commercial because people could probably hear Pokemon in the background.
Please check out this amazing promotion that we have prepared with the Questionnaire.
I'm the Unknown Factor. This right here is the obscure fragment.
Are watching this show.
Yeah, I'll do editing
with the Questionnaire.
So we've edited this awesome commercial together, y'all.
90% off.
We are not giving 90% off.
No, I mean 9.
How about 20?
The only thing that you have to do is enter that code that you have right there.
9.
No, 20.
10.
How about 20?
I'm printing your comics today with Studio Comics Press.
Just use this code right here. Right here. Look, I put it somewhere. All right, it's probably actually right here. Right, it's right under your chin. It says Quest 24.
That code you gotta enter in our website, and then you will get a Women discount of 20% in any of the items or products that we have on the website.
9.
20.
9.
20%.
9.
All right.
9.
He wants to give you 9% off. I, as well as Alfonso over there on Studio Comics, want to give you 20% off.
You can get it right there with this amazing code. Just enter it right here. Yeah, just right there. There.
Use that code over at Studio Comics to get 20% off.
Thank you very much. This is a special one for all our friends of the Questionnaire.
Type in Quest 24 when you check out, man. You can figure out the percentage you'll get right then because it'll show in your order.
Yeah,
right?
9% off.
It's 20%.
The Questionnaire, the best current comic book podcast existing around.
So happy to have Studio Comics as our very, very first sponsor. Say Studio Comics!
Studio Comics!
Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and do all the stuff that you have to do.
I'm the Unknown Factor with the Questionnaire. Make sure you check it out. Yeah, we're back. Check it out, man. And I forgot, Memphis Quinn will be returning on that PanCon. That'll be our next episode. Yeah, our next quest. It'll be that PanCon. Memphis Quinn, Mark Bagley, Ross Ritchie, Mark Allen Fishman, Larry Stahl, and Eric Allcherry. Wait a second. That's 8 people. Can I just name off 8 people? Because, there's going to be me there, too. Because, I'm probably not going to say much, to be real honest. But wait,
They need an adult to supervise. My point exactly.
I must be a pretty good supervisor because there are some powerful individuals that keep coming back to the show. I'm telling you, even when things go wrong in the episode that they were on first, y'all will never, ever, 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 ever see because Because sometimes there's tech issues and a reel gets lost or something or blah 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 and all that crap happens, man. But he was a heck of a pal, yeah, with the power coming through. Wait. See, Ahmed Raafat. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Just from my memory, I didn't even have it to look at. I'm very. I was.
You got it
I was.
right.
I was hesitant about that, Ahmed. I ain't even gonna lie. I was like, oh man. Then I was like, wait, we gotta did. And then the fact that I summoned that out of my brain proves the stress makes me go, and I don't understand why. So with that, how much of the stress of comics keeps you going? Because let's be honest, comics in itself is a stressful industry because you have to. You're doing something as far as putting yourself out there that a lot of people aren't even willing to do. Some aren't capable of.
Yeah, I mean, it is. That's obviously part of the stress. I was actually just having a conversation with my daughter earlier because she wants to work in film and she's applying for universities. And you need to send like short films or stuff you made to kind of get a better chance. And she doesn't want to do it. And I was telling her, take me as an example. Like you have to put yourself out there and you have to put the work out there, even if you're sometimes not sure about it or not 100% confident. But you just have to. It's part of what we do. So yeah, it is. Every book release is like getting your exam results. Like you wake up in the morning and you see the reviews and the reactions, and you're just hoping that people like it. It is stressful.
I love that analogy. Sure, when you put a book out, it's like waiting for the results of an exam. And it's funny because of how apropos that is to what it actually is, man. Uh, oh, that's a good one, Ahmed. I like it. I'm gonna have to remember that. Like that's essentially what the sales represent. Are you son of a? I need my computer to stop making noises like a butthole, right? I'm for real. Like I'm just. Right, that's all I'm saying right now. Right, we're gonna have a little bit of tech issues because why not, Ahmed? Your whole first quest didn't record. We gotta have at least like a little bit of background sound that shouldn't have been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we just have Becca Lee Gardner on, and I want to hear your perspective on this because one of the things that was brought up was because the questionnaire, part of your job, you
Yeah.
dread, and what she'd said was imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever feel yourself succumbing to that to any degree?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all the time, to be honest. It's because first of all, there's a lot of great art out there. Like I started as a comic fan before I became an artist, so I've read a lot of comics. I've seen a lot of great comic book art that I love, and you, I cannot help but subconsciously compare myself to other people and how that person did this thing and how that person. So you're always feeling like, am I as good as I think I am? Can I be? So it happens. It happens all the time. Just I know it's not a good thing to compare yourself to others, but it's more of what you love versus what you create and how much what you create measures up to what you love and the things you enjoy. So it's not like comparison. Like I'm not like comparing myself to a specific artist and saying, "Oh, I need to be better than that person." But just like you finish drawing something and then you're reading a comic you just wrote and you saw this amazing splash page and you're like, "Wow, am I ever going to be able to do something like this?" So yeah, yeah, I think every artist goes through that. Uh, at, at some point. Some more than others, but it is something that happens when you are exposed to art and simultaneously making art. It's bound to happen that you're going to feel that you're you're out of place or you shouldn't be you shouldn't be among all these amazing people. So
Hey, I
So
understand. Yeah, I understand, Ahmed, with all the amazing people, including yourself, that we've had on the questionnaire. And speaking of art, Shiro, ask a question real quick while I make sure that some doesn't. Yeah, oops.
Well, you look interested in my answer.
I said ask a what?
Hello again.
What do you mean your answer? I said ask a question because I throw comics on the show, and I know wasn't it you that said you get upset about that too, or do you not care? I can't remember.
Well, I'm not a fan.
Oh, you're like, no, well,
But
someone said they died inside a little. And, I've gotten pretty good about when I chuck them and land on my floor. I don't kind of landed with that a little like that. And I just wanted to, yeah. Now watch, though. I'm going to throw
okay,
it
now
again.
I'm upset.
And now,
Ah,
what? Because, I decided to just throw it again, too, right?
not the folded corner, you monster.
Hey, look, man, I'm doing a thing here, and sometimes it happens. Why do you think, oh, man, let me ask, would you rather someone, like, get one of your comics and keep it curled up in their back pocket so they could read it? Or would you rather them put it in a case and never read it?
no, read it. Read it.
Even if it was folded in half in their back pocket?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite comics are completely torn apart from when I was a kid. The stuff I'm keeping is stapled together because I've read them over and over and copied panels and stuff. So that means you've really enjoyed the comic and got all your benefit out of it. I'm not the frame and put in a case kind of person at all.
So I don't want to hear nothing about me throwing comics, Shiro. Did you hear that?
I didn't say anything. You're just projecting everything onto me. Like, I literally have some comic-oramas with mixed up Conan, Superman, stuff like that. And there's pages torn. There's doodles on the blank pages. I'm not pulling them out because in the state they are.
We have seen those, I think, even maybe on a past episode. I know you showed me personally, and yeah,
I
those
showed you
are some
my
raggedy comics,
first
man.
copy of Asterix from the 70s.
Yeah, there's
I
some
don't do it often because it might jump scare people.
there's some I've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen any book have that little binding left and still be together somehow. I really don't understand how that book is
It's
together.
literally
That's
holding by one thread left of the binding.
yeah, it's pretty rough, man. What was your most well-loved book? Ahmed, what was the book you had that, like, when you were done with it,
The one
your
that's
pages?
worn out the most. So, and I still have this to this day. The first comic book issue I remember buying is the introduction of Steel from the Reign of the Superman, 1993. So that's the first like American comic book I remember buying.
Well,
And I still have it to this day. I've worn out this comic because I went through a phase when I was reading it all the time. I was obsessed with Steel, and I was trying to get an action figure of Steel, which they didn't sell in Egypt at the time. I tried to explain to my grandma, who was traveling to America at some point. She asked me, "Do you want the Game Boy?" Because that was a big thing at the time. Or do you want the what was the Sega One Game Gear? I said no, but there is an action figure of a Superman, but he's not Superman. He's Steel, and obviously she didn't buy it, and but I was obsessed with Steel when I was a kid because it was kind of my introduction to the this world of comics, and it was cool. The art is amazing, and it's still amazing to this day. I just look at it and I'm like, wow. And I went through phases of trying to draw Steel and then draw panels from the comic, like appropriate them into a comic book I was making. So it's held together by 5, 6 staples at different points now. It's completely worn out. Uh, so yeah, I mean that's there are plenty of other comics like that, but I think this one is got the most love out of all the stuff I have,
all right, then.
by being one of the oldest.
Then I've got to ask if that's your
Yeah.
kind of love. Did you love the movie Steel, or were you just like, well, yeah, yeah? You're like, I've
Watched
wanted
it.
to. I seen it. Did you see his face,
Yeah.
Shira? His face just was like, I wanted to.
Yeah, yeah, I wanted to, but I mean, it was very different from the source material in
That's a
ways
polite way to say it.
I did not enjoy.
Yeah, that was pretty far because I mean, I think they
Yeah.
now because that makes me want to honestly go back and watch Steel. I don't think I've watched it since it initially came out, which was what, the 90s?
It was 97 or 98, I think. I don't think I even watched the whole thing. I just watched part of it and I was like, I'm not really enjoying this, so I turned it off.
I mean,
But I would
can
love
relate.
to.
Super Mario Brothers movie, 1993. It was different.
Yeah,
And clearly I'm a
yeah.
big fan. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember the ads for the Super Mario Brothers movie. I've only watched a couple of years ago actually, but I remember the ads for the movie because they were in the Superman comic books, and
that's true.
I loved the poster, but I for some reason, again because I was living in Egypt, there's a lot of stuff that didn't come out there, and I just never watched it until a couple of years ago. It's its own thing. I mean, I didn't hate it because I enjoy crazy stuff. It's not Mario, but
It's an
it's its own
enjoyable
thing.
movie, but you
Yeah,
can tell there were like, okay, we're gonna put Mario just because Nintendo asked us to make a Mario movie.
yeah, yeah.
Oh well, and
Uh,
I can't remember who's the actor that played Mario.
Bob
Bob
Hoskins.
Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins. Thank you. I could not, and brilliant actor on everything he's ever been in. But yeah, he's literally. I mean, I don't know how many times he's been quoted as far as like, I hate this movie.
He
I
did it for his kids.
There's a famous video of him talking about the film, and he's like, I wasn't King Lear or another Shakespeare play. I don't remember the exact play, but he's like, I'm looking at myself on the screen, and I'm like doing all these crazy things, and then sighing and saying, I used to be in King Lear, or like I used to be in Hamlet, or something like that. So it's it's pretty funny. But apparently he made it for his kids at the time. I think, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, the things we do for our kids. So
I wonder if there's a story of Roger Rabbit that's like way, because I mean, I ain't never heard anything bad about Roger Rabbit though from him.
No, he enjoyed Roger Rabbit.
I mean,
I love Roger Rabbit. I love
that's
this film.
yeah, that's
One
a
of the,
whew.
and
For
then
the record,
behind the scenes of film.
real
Sorry.
quick for the gossipers, Gary K. Wolf got all the movie rights back from Disney recently for Roger Rabbit, Jessica
Okay.
Rabbit, all his cinema stuff rights right back to him. So that's your good news of the day.
That is good news. But I was gonna say that behind the scenes for that film, if you watch it, it's insane. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I'd love to see a sequel, but I think there was something magical about how inventive. It's not a slight at CGI or anything. These people are doing amazing things right now, but it's the the kind of practical effects they had to pull in order to do a shot. It was like a magic trick, basically. That's not there anymore. And now we know, it's probably CGI and green screen, and put everything.
Yeah. I
Back
mean,
then, it was
yeah, even just
it was just
his fight with the weasels when he's holding Roger under the like. I mean, any of those sequences or no, it was the fight in the bar. Like the things they had to do to set it up to where the weasel is breaking the table. There's nothing hitting the table.
And there were wires, and that scene where Roger, like, the disc skips and he constantly smashes himself in the head with the plates. And you see the behind the
yeah.
scene, and it's like a powered arm.
It's crazy. And those the part in the bar, the cartoon characters were carrying actual trays, like
Yeah,
real trays, and
the
like they had to
painted
build it.
there, the little penguins
Yeah,
there.
they had to build it on a stage and put the trays on a stick and then animate the character. Like it's just insane. And I'm pretty sure the people who were working on it were like gone crazy half the time because of the amount of stuff that they have to do. But but that kind of dedication is why it's so. I mean, for me, it's a classic. I mean, I've watched this film over and over, and I never get bored.
See, all I got to
I
say
agree.
is I think there was a spiritual sequel to that, in my opinion, coming soon, which I guess Looney Tunes has done a couple, really, if you really look, from Space Jam to Back in Action and this and that. But
Yeah,
but the one that I was
Or
looking
the
forward
Chip and
to,
Dale movie.
Chip and Dale. The
oh yeah, that one is half and
Yeah,
half,
yeah.
isn't
Let's.
it? Yeah, and
yeah,
then they like,
Roger was in it apparently.
well,
yeah, for great scene.
well, and then the screwed up Sonic was in it too, the one that was the original model,
Yeah.
which I think is
Yes, yeah,
hilarious.
that was brilliant.
That it
Yeah,
was, but then at the same time, like they had the whole man. Look, it's the Coyote versus Acme. I can't get over that they never released that film.
They're working
yeah,
on releasing it next year because a company bought it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes
I've
I
heard
know
that.
stuff.
Shiro coming through with all the good news today. Because that's phenomenal. I can't tell you how much I want to take my boy to that. I guess SpongeBob has done a bit of a live action too. But it is something that you don't see as much anymore. And it does make you wonder, like, how much, because back then they had to use wires and everything for the props and effects, how much they actually just, it's entirely CGI when those characters are interacting with it. Because it's like, why set up all these wires? And I say that's no fun. Do it the hard way. Like, if you want to draw something, don't type it in some program. Go and, like, learn to draw. I'm not going to learn to draw. I want to make that real clear. I mean, I think it'd be cool to be able to draw like y'all, but I don't have the time or the patience. I will write first and write other things, right? Why do you think so many people in today's day and age, like, I want to draw, but it seems very few people have the patience, and then they see this program and they're like, ooh, look, I can draw. No, you can't. Firstly, I want to point that out to anybody watching. That's not drawing. I've watched many a great artist draw on this show. I'm gonna make Ahmed do it one day. Just watch.
Yeah,
Why do you think there's that lack of patience, or do you think it's a lack of understanding to where people understand that it's about repetition and practice? You can become talented. It's not just talent.
I think the people who use AI do not actually like making art. They just want to be called artists, and because because the current social climate we live in right now, with social media and wanting to get likes and clouds, you want something that is call I like to call AI generated art professional passing, because when you look at it at first sight, kind of looks professional, but the more you look at it, the more you start seeing the inconsistencies and the stuff that doesn't make sense. So they want something that is professional passing, that can get them likes and follows, and the kind of cloud that everyone, including myself, like, when I post something on social media, I want it to be seen and I want it to get likes, and I want people sharing it. So we're all kind of doing that right now, looking
For attention. Positive
for attention.
attention, preferably.
But now,
Yeah.
but you say that and you say it like it's something that's just occurred. It's just occurring on a different level than it typically has, because artists have always, when they make art, tried to find someone that would enjoy it. It's just, if you look back pre the days of the internet, it was a different level of people finding enjoyment. The more the world became networked on a global level, the more it became about getting a click from everywhere. But it used to be if you could just find a couple people in your neighborhood, and then it grew from that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was always
Uh,
that, man. That's always been there. And hey,
it,
but
it,
real
it
quick,
was. I mean,
real quick before you respond, like and subscribe, right now. Click that bell in the corner so you get notifications when we drop a new quest, because you'll get cool information like, what we're talking about. I hope part of it was cool. Now what, Ahmed?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think social media in general kind of rewired our brains, because like I read something somebody posted the other day, like 11 likes. Imagine 11 people actually liking your art, and if you tell somebody something got 11 likes, they will say, so what? I mean, that's nothing. But if you actually think about it, 11 people saw your art and liked it enough to respond to it and press like. So yeah, it used to be that you know, no matter if it's one person or two people or five people, like the thing you made before social media, you'd be over the moon. You know, if like I took a sketchbook to school and showed it to a couple of friends and they thought that the art is amazing or something, that would be it for me. But now, you know, with how social media has become part of our life and it kind of it kind of changed our
Part of
the
your
whole
life,
social
man.
experience.
No, it's part of your life, man. Look, even though I run this show and I should be on social media more, I'm really like, there are days where I don't check any of them things except to message people to coordinate this show. But actually going on the app of like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, sometimes I literally like I it's strictly for the purpose of, oh, I have to message blah 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 blahs for
Yeah,
this today or tomorrow. It is not let me scroll feeds, which I think is hilarious because I really probably should try to be more in the know, but I don't want to do
I mean, I've been
it.
trying to
I don't doom
cut down a
scroll
little bit,
myself.
and again, like I'm not trying to say social media is the devil,
It
because it
is.
has
It
its.
Put
is.
your horns up.
All right, I mean, is
Oh
evil,
my
not
god.
the good.
Look at this tiny thing.
But yeah, but I'm saying that it's kind of changed the whole social experience. Like so, like it's great that we have social media and I can you know, it's another way to get your work out there, get eyes on your work, network with professionals. Like especially for somebody like me who had only moved to the UK 10 years ago. So before that, all my experience and interactions with any professionals were through social media, and some of them were kind enough to, you know, give advice on stuff or you know, share their process so I can look at it and see how they, you know, how their workflow goes so that I can try to emulate that when I was still learning. So I'm not saying it's an entirely bad thing, but it did change uh, a lot of our conceptions about how interactions should be and how people should respond to our work. Uh, Not in a positive or a negative way. It's just now it's different. The world before social media is completely different from the world after. And and back to AI. Yeah, I think people are just looking for a product to put online now. Just something finished and polished, and that they can put and share and say that they have made it. You know, and of course, there's also the corporations part of that. That the corporations are going to do anything to get the art. You know, kick the
Don't
artists
get
out.
me started on
Save it,
that.
yeah, save a buck, and yeah, let's not. At least it's not Mike in here. He wouldn't have said, "Don't get me started." He would have just started. I love you, Ruth. Uh, but
Well, you got me started. Disney wants to put AI generating in Disney Plus to get
Yeah,
content for free from the subscribers. And that's all I'll say about that. So we can finish the show eventually in an hour.
I have another show to do tonight. Let's not go any farther. But don't watch. But sincerely, for everyone out there, like I wouldn't suggest consuming AI content just because you don't have the soul of a person. Because that's what Rebecca, who was on last night, or not last night, on the last quest. It wasn't even last night. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. It's been a day and a
You
whole
never
hell of
did.
a week. Um, but she said last night the importance is to be able to know that you connected with one person because when you put art like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I don't want to consume anything made by machine. To me, the most important aspect of art, whether it's a song or a show or film or a comic or anything or, you know, a sketch, is that a person made it because it's an insight into their mind and how they think and how they perceive the world, and that's how that's what is interesting to me. Or, you know, somebody writes a song and it's similar to something I'm going through, and I listen to them, and I see that they go through the same experience. It's you know, this unity in knowing that we're all going through the same stuff, and a machine would never be able to do that. So it's I have zero interest in anything made by AI. I want human art, and everyone should.
Yeah, and I fully agree with that, man. I mean, you made something that I got a chance to read, but I mean, it's been. When was the last? When were you actually on the show the first time?
I think it was either end of October or beginning of November. I think
All
it
right,
was
well,
the
like
first week.
that, I'd read that
Yeah.
piece right then. That being the Power Pals, which it is
Yes.
a wonderful, wonderful book. I love that book. I do. Um, how long did it take you to get into the character design of that? And how many different character designs was it straight to the style you used, or were the thoughts of using something else stylistically?
So I kind of had a base to start with some of the characters. Like the main characters, Alex and Derek. Um, for the costumes, at least. The Dwayne had this idea in mind for like years before I started working on it, and he tried to do it in different mediums. So he actually had a live action trailer made for the Power Pals, and he had a bunch of fake comic book covers that we ended up using as the variant covers for the series. So I kind of had that to start from. But in terms of how the characters look, Alex and Derek, um, I it's certainly like if you look at the pitch, it's completely different from what we ended up doing in the actual book, and it was kind of an iterative process. Like we'd finish the design, and then me and Dwayne would talk about it and say, "Well, how about we try this?" And this might make the dynamic more interesting between both characters. There's a lot of inspiration from 21 Jump Street. So Alex is like Channing Tatum, and Derek is like Jonah Hill, because we wanted that kind of buddy comedy dynamic between both. And I think in a way, somebody pointed it out, and even though I didn't notice it at first, but must have been subconscious. Jay and Silent Bob, like you've got the same kind of look, like tall Jay, Silent Bob, a little bit shorter next to him. So yeah,
I definitely
it
wouldn't say
was
those personalities match up, though.
it's not, no, it's not personalities.
Yeah, yeah,
Just the look.
yeah. I'm into the Jay and Silent Bob case, and the other one I could definitely see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love, man, I'm trying to feel like there's part of me that just wants to be like, y'all should go read this. There's part of me that's like, there's so many spoilers. Wait, do you all have more of that planned?
We would like to do a sequel. Like we have plans, but we haven't been asked to do a sequel yet. It's kind of left open-ended. So yeah, I mean,
Wait,
if
I will end this quest right now for what kinda left open-ended. What do you mean it's kinda left open-ended? You left that very open-ended.
yeah, I mean, we dropped clues for what might come next, but we don't actually have a solid plan. And like we don't have we haven't been asked to do a next installment, but the last page was kind of like, this is where it would go if we got asked to do a sequel.
And y'all can go check that out in the link in the description, just so y'all know, as well as so much other stuff that Ahmed has done. Because if you go to any quest and you want to find out whoever was on there, click the link in the description. There's always a link. Normally there's a link. Sometimes I forget the link. You ever forget a line in a page, and then it gets printed and you go and you look and you're like, son of a.
Yeah, that happens.
Have you ever had one that really when it happened and then it goes to print and it's out of your hands? And is there one that sticks in your head that's happened with and you just can't get it out of your head? Like it takes up some rent.
No, I mean there were very minor things sometimes. Like whenever I'd receive the book back and I'd be looking and this is like a small area that's not shaded or a color that's not right or anything. That's not anything like very noticeable because I go over my work a lot of times, and then the writer goes over the work, and then the editor goes over the work. So if I hadn't noticed it the first 5 times and no one else noticed it, then it's very unlikely that anyone's gonna see it. Like nothing massive, but sometimes like something in the background that should have been colored different, but I forgot to color it, or stuff like that. So small stuff, yeah. But yeah, it happens. I mean, when you're looking at a page for 10 hours a day, eventually you're going to miss something.
Well, and I think it brings the point that we were discussing earlier, as far as an artist, at some point you have to put your work out, and you have
Yeah.
to be willing to do that, because if you just keep going, oh, I can make it better, oh, I can make it better, oh, I can make it better, that thought
Then it never
will,
comes out.
yeah,
Yeah.
you would be on what, page 1, Shiro? Are you Super Mario Story?
Yeah, and I've got 9 issues. I'm finishing the 9th issue right now.
Yeah,
So imagine,
yeah.
like,
And you,
looking back, oh hell yeah, I could do better art on Mario's Miss Cake, but that was like in 2017.
No, yeah, I'm somebody who has spent like I started really late in the game. I consider myself started late in the game for comics. I started when I was 31. So I spent years uh, scared of trying to make comics because I'm not good enough. I didn't think I'm good enough, and I didn't think I'm going to be able to do it. And then at some point, I said, you're not getting any younger. You need to start now, even if it's not good enough. Just get something out there. And it's nice to see the progress. Like if you look at my work from 2015 or 2014 compared to now, not saying that it's not saying this. I mean, still like it, but I can see where the mistakes are, and where I could have done things differently. So it's nice seeing this progress, and it's a natural process. You like get the work out there, and then learn from it and start the next thing. Is what I
Exactly.
say. Do not wait until it's perfect, because it's never perfect. And even now, I'm pretty certain that 5 years from now, I'm going to look at what I was doing today, and I'll think, I could have done things differently, or I could have done things better. And that's the beauty of the process. You're evolving, you're progressing, you're changing, even your style is changing, and you're looking at that, and it's like a journey. You're looking at your journey as an artist or a writer or whatever creative field you're working in. So yeah, just go if you're somebody who's making a comic and is worried about how it's going to be received, or if it's not good enough, just go for it. Get it out there, get all the critique, get all the advice, learn from it, and start the next one. That's what I say.
well, no,
We should
and
put a clip here of Shia LaBeouf going, "Just do it!" in front of a green
Yes.
screen.
but no, the point is, you make it so valid, man, and it's funny because I can bring such a perfect example that I think if people hear, they could go, oh, okay, well, maybe I should just do it, because your favorite actor is one Sir Nicolas Cage, right?
Yes.
Right now,
Yes.
Becca, who is just the previous quest. If you're on the playlist and you go back one, it's Becca. I recommend you do, after you listen to the entirety of this quest. It was a phenomenal conversation we had with her, just like we are. Oh man, the actress she hates the most. Take a guess.
It's Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Why?
Heretic.
I knew you were gonna ask that, because you have a clear love for him, and she's like, and it was brought up on the show, so I actually have a clear, defined answer for you. Funnily enough, which is rare, Ahmed. Just so you know, for me to have here's an actual true answer to your question. I usually don't do that, but she said, I'm getting to it, Shira. That she could
It's
just,
Christmas.
how she explained it was, there were, how there are some actors, when they're in a role, they just envelop the role, and it's like they are completely believable as whatever they are. And she said, she's like, for
Yeah.
whatever reason, she's like, I could never believe him in anything, and she just thinks he's a bad actor.
That's what makes his charm. He is so
Well,
extra. He doesn't
I mean-
talk in Wally's Wonderland.
I don't think
He's
I
the
don't think
best
he's
part of the movie.
I don't think he's a bad actor, but he's I mean I disagree with that part, but well, yeah, I mean I just like how his career, like he was in the 90s. He was the definitive action star. You know, The Rock, Con Air, Face Off. He was the 90s, and then he went through a career low where he wasn't doing like amazing stuff, and now every movie he has out is interesting because he picks the craziest projects and he works on them and he gives it 1,000%. So
Appreciate the effort.
It's
yeah, I'll watch whatever movie he's doing, even if I'm not like fond of the subject or the theme. I'll just watch it because I know it's gonna be crazy. I know I'm gonna be hooked start to finish. And I appreciate, and he's somebody who seems to be genuinely nice and seems to really love film and love making films. Like I know he's part of it is for the money, but it feels like he loves acting. He loves being in film, and that's to me that's a great thing to be as an artist. You know, to love the medium and to just want to do it for the sake of doing it. So yeah, I mean, he's the like I had other favorite actors with Nicolas Cage during different stages in my life, but he's the one that has always, like I said, starting from the 90s when I started watching film until now, he's the person who whenever he has a new film coming out, I'll still check it out,
she.
regardless of what it is.
Well, I'll tell you how. Here's how much Rebecca disliked him as an actor because her favorite actor was Pedro Pascal, right? And
Right.
what's
Good
the film?
actor.
What's the film? Yeah, what's the film they did together? It's
The massive something of that talent.
the massive. I said something to that effect. I
It's got
cannot.
massive intelligence.
Huh?
It's got massive intelligence.
Yeah, it's massive. The look,
I can look it up.
Shiro's got it, and
Okay.
Shiro's already on it.
The unbearable weight of massive talent.
The unbearable weight of massive talent.
Appropriate.
And for those two actors, I truly feel that it is. But she's like, I'm not even watching that, man. But you know what? All I got to say is Con Air, Con shit. What was it like when you realized you got the chance to draw Jay and Silent Bob?
Sorry?
Oh man, did no one catch that Dogma reference? It was so smooth, and he literally he just got the rights back to it. He just got Kevin Smith got the rights back to it. Like so smooth, just like ran a Con Air freaking Dogma reference, and no one caught it. I'm so upset no one caught it. Con Air.
I remember now.
Yeah, Con Air. Con shit. Come on, man.
Yes.
So how was it like when you finally realized you were going to get the chance to draw Jay and Silent Bob and all the Kevin Smith characters from The View?
It was if I'm gonna be honest, I still think it's a dream to this day. I've said this before. So when Kevin started the Quick Stops, the Secret Stash label, the Quick Stops series, he put a tweet on social media, on Twitter, asking if anybody wants to draw an issue of Quick Stops, and I responded to that with zero expectations. I usually respond to calls when it's a big name, so that other writers would see my work, you know, scrolling through the thread and maybe get a job from that. But I didn't expect to get the main job with him.
Worst thing you can do is say no, so might as well try.
Yeah. There's nothing to lose when you respond to these kind of calls. And then a few months later, I got a message from the editor saying, "Would you like to do an issue of Quick Stops?" And I said, "Yeah. I mean, yes. That's the question I'll always say yes to." But yeah, it's I've been a fan of Kevin as a director and as like just a general figure of pop culture for decades now, and yeah, and it's I mean, if he asked me to work on Quick Stops 4, 5, 6, 100, I'll always say yes to that, you know.
But But you missed my Dogma reference.
The movie wasn't anywhere for years. I'm gonna go watch it in the cinema. It just came out in the UK.
So
And
I
I don't
did
watch
watch
movies,
Clerks
so
like a million times
I just
for
look.
for
I was just so happy with it because it was a like it referenced to like from the Nick Cage to right to that, and then just
yeah. It was a good bridge.
just
It was a
like
good
it was
bridge.
such a
it
good
was very
segue.
good, Jay. You're very smart.
No, I'm not. I'm clever and an a-hole, but that's besides the point. I see. I edited that myself for you, Larry, so you didn't have to because I know you got to edit the thing I said earlier and whatever. That's besides the point. All right. So out of everything you worked on, I mean, you obviously clearly enjoy working on the quick stops and working with Kevin, and then you're doing what you're doing with Power Pals. Let's say you had to choose between working with what you made up or working with properties that existed already. And you only can pick
That's a
one.
tough question.
Yeah. Which one do you want, Ahmed? Do you want to
That is a
design your
tough
own and do your
question.
own, or do you want to be like, no, you can only play with things that already exist? I mean, you could tweak those things a little bit, but they're already pretty defined. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think I'll choose what I create, to be honest. And this is coming from somebody who would drop everything and like if I get asked to do like a Batman book or something, I'll drop everything I'm doing and I'll go for that. But if I had to choose to do one forever, I think the freedom of creating your own world and your own characters and your own like having this full control over everything is definitely better than playing with somebody else's toys for a little bit and not being able to change much. So yeah, my own stuff and I know it doesn't happen as often now in comics, but I'm really jealous of the careers of somebody like Jeff Smith or Mike Mignola or Stan Sakai who are able to, for 3 decades now, do their own thing and just their own thing and get it published all the time and just have their own worlds. That's to me that's is the goal as an artist. To have something like Bones or Hellboy or Usagi Yojimbo or any of these creations. That's the best case scenario for an artist or a creator. I mean, a writer or artist. So my own stuff would be the answer. Yeah.
That's funny that you bring up Bone because I'm currently reading Bone with my son. We're on book 9. And yeah, he has absolutely loved it. So I think it is great and I think that's a great example of also showing that a creator-owned character as well as Hellboy. I mean, I was watching one of the 4 movies, 6 if you count the animated ones. Yeah.
They had 4. They had 2 with Del Toro, and then they had a 2018 one with David Harbour, and then they had the Crooked Man recently. So they had 4 live action ones.
Yeah, and then there's 2. I think there's only 2 animated.
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that. But there's quite a bit out there with both of those. I wish they'd make a show for Bone. I don't care if it's animated or whatever, but I think that would be an awesome epic.
I
But
think they said they are making a film, but I'm
no,
not sure where.
oh no, you didn't like the last thing because I kind of looked this up based on the fact that me and the boy are reading it. But he apparently had a Netflix deal, and if memory serves, I'm about 90% sure I'm right on this that it fell through too, and it's he's made Bone cartoons where. He made a Bone cartoon where like it showed because it's been optioned several times and then it always falls through for whatever reason. And it was Phone Bone, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna make a movie." And it was ostensibly like the Charlie Brown getting the football pulled out from under him.
Yeah.
To the point where he's like, "Never again," and then it comes again, and he's like, does it again, and then never again. And I was like, "Yeah, it shows you how screwy that particular industry is." So isn't that? So what's your thoughts on that, man? I mean, one of the properties you're looking on is from film. Like you didn't like they can't make. I mean, they could make a Quick Stops movie, another one, I guess, but you already have that leeway. Do you feel like in that comic gets a little more notoriety from non-comic collectors, like people that wouldn't typically read one?
Yeah, I mean, um, from I think a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some people. I mean, from my interactions with conventions, some people do not know that Kevin Smith writes comics, which is wild to me because it's in all his films. Like somebody was stopped by my table and they were looking at Quick Stops, and I'm like, "Are you a Kevin Smith fan?" And they say, "Yeah, I'm a fan of the films." I didn't know he writes comics, which is crazy because like his films are all about comics basically. So like, but yeah, I mean, certainly a lot of people have picked Quick Stops from my table at conventions, even though they're not necessarily comic book readers, just because it's a Kevin Smith thing. So yeah, I was at Tool Bubble last week, and I had a lovely interaction with somebody who came to the table, but this person was a comic book reader, but they had a Jay and Silent Bob tattoo on their arm, and they drew fan art of Jay and Silent Bob, but with me talking to them. And I don't think this is the first time anybody had drawn fan art of me. Like I've had people draw fan art of my characters, but not myself. I was just like, this was the highlight of the weekend for me to see this fan art and get to chat to them.
Do you have that? I really want to see it.
No, he has the original, but I do have a picture of it. I signed
Then,
it.
then if you're gonna send that picture, we're gonna real quick just.
Yeah. I'll
Screen,
send it to you. Yeah, I'll
eh,
send it to you. And I'll send you the details of the person as well because they are. He's a comic book creator as well. So
Oh, fine.
um,
I'll put art by blah 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 down in the description too.
yeah,
Now, no more
yeah,
adding links. No more. I ain't adding no more links. You hear me? There's enough links on this damn show as it is, and Lord knows I'm gonna give Larry a headache with all the editing that I'm adding. As far as like, hey man, put this picture up right there too, and he's gonna be like, what? And I'll be like, just do it. You know? You ever have conversations with that back and forth because comics are a very collaborative thing. It's
yeah.
from the artist to the writer. You have your colorist, inker, and editor, as far as if you have all of that. Sometimes there is, sometimes there's not. Sometimes there's a comic where one person's doing it alone, which still blows my mind, man. I get like Declan and what he did, but that's a whole different point that I diverged to. What do you think is the importance as far as in building a good team that works together and can communicate properly within the comic book community?
I think it's very it's vital. If you're not if you're not all speaking the same language and you're all like able to work together, I think a comic book team is like a band. So if you're all playing different instruments, and if you do not play well together, and somebody's always out of tune or somebody is not playing what the rest of the band wants to play, it's just not gonna work. So you all have to like be on the same wavelength in order to make things work. And yeah, I mean, I've been lucky. Dwayne was amazing to work with. Kevin was amazing to work with. Most of the like even the earlier creators I've worked with on other comics. Most of the time they're just like I'm doing my thing, you do your thing, and we're just going to. It's collaborative. What do you think of this? Uh, yeah, I like this, but can we try this? It's like I didn't have any like clashes where like you have to draw a certain way. I don't like the way you draw, or anything like that. So yeah, I think that's what makes or breaks a comic book, whether the team can work together nicely and is on the same uh, wavelength or not.
Yeah, because I mean, I agree with you as far as the analogy of a band too, because it's the thing, and as someone that I've performed quite a few places and I've seen bands, and man, I always kind of looked and think like, oh, that's a pain in the rear to just collaborate and get all those together. What do you think is more difficult, to get like 5 guys in a band or 5 guys to do a comic?
Just by the fact that the band members have to be physically at the same place, probably a band. Like the first time for me to meet Dwayne was last weekend. So we've been working together for 3 years, and this is the first time we met face to face. So that's it's more difficult with a band, obviously.
All right. That was a quick consensus agreement. I agree, man. And I gotta say, though, you said something earlier about Kevin Smith as far as all his movies are about comics, and I think the funnier thing is everybody says that it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and everybody gives that credit for being the actual first cinematic universe. And
It is, yeah.
No, it's not, man. It's Kevin Smith.
Yeah, Kevin Smith, yeah.
Yeah,
His Ask Universe is the first cinematic universe, yeah.
I don't think he'll ever get
I
proper
agree.
credit for that because of the MCU.
Yeah. I mean, and looking at it, that shows how much of a comic book fan he is, because comics are a shared universe from the kind of from the start, starting with I don't know if before the Justice League of America there were interactions between Superman and Batman, obviously. So it's always been a shared universe in terms of comics, and he kind of carried that into the films because he's a comic book fan and he understands that you can, take a character out of the film and put in another film, maybe in a smaller role or a side role, and people will begin to see these connections. So that shows how much of a comic book fan he is. But yeah, it is the first cinematic universe. And anyone who says otherwise do not know their movie information.
Now that makes me want to get like a real someone who's like a serious movie buff and be like, can you tell me one other than that? Like, I guess I'm kind of a movie buff, because didn't John Hughes kind of do that?
Who?
The
Sean.
the dude that Kevin Smith actually references, kind of funnily enough, in several of his films. This tubby bitch just watched the 16 Candles, and he always busts out. I don't remember exactly what the line is.
John Hughes. Yeah, John Hughes. Yeah. I don't know if it was a cinematic universe.
See, that's the one I would question.
Yeah, I mean the films. I don't know. I mean, I don't remember any like specific character that carries over from one film to the next, but maybe there were references to places or.
There was no Jay in Silent Bob.
Yeah.
I think that's true, but I think it's like, sorry, you said I'm not. Now I'm just trying to figure out. Now it's just become a discussion of what it was the first cinematic universe. I don't know why I did that, man, but so what else you got coming, Ahmed? You got the Power Pals graphic novel you can pick up right now in the description below. Quick Stops issue 4 just dropped real recently. All right.
It's coming out this Wednesday.
It's out, man. It is out, Ahmed. I do not get these quests out that quickly. We're pretty quick nowadays. Shout out to Shiro. Yeah, say shout out to Shiro. Shout out to Larry.
By the time you watch this,
but I don't get them out. Yeah.
By the time you watch this, is gonna be out.
Yeah, for about a week. Yeah.
I've been pitching a bunch of things for the past couple of months. Still waiting to see if they're going to land somewhere. But other than that, a bunch of short stories and some UK indie stuff and a bunch of covers. It's been pitching mostly these last few months. So
well, let me ask you. You started off in Egypt, and if memory serves me properly from the last time you were on, you said there's not really a comic market there, right?
It's not. It's nowhere as big as the United States or the UK or Japan. The bigger places.
Yeah. What would you say, besides size, has been the main difference in the Egyptian and UK markets?
I think it's just the culture generally. I think it's more ingrained in the culture in the UK to read comics. Like in Egypt, we didn't have any comic shops until 2010, and they didn't last for too long. After that, uh, they the last one closed after 6 years, but like it was a very brief period where we actually had comic shops. Comics are usually sold on newsstands or in supermarkets and places where magazines sell. We didn't have any comic conventions until very recently. 2015 was the first time we had a proper comic book convention, with artists tabling and showing their work. And it's pretty much the only one so far. They've announced one. There is another one in another city that started 2 years ago, and they announced one that's going to start next year, so that makes it three. But we don't have a con at every city, at a city every week, like in the UK and the US. Um, and I think I mentioned it in last time. Like one of the longest running magazines and one of the most famous magazines is a comic magazine. It's a translation of the Disney Picsou French magazine, which has the Scrooge stories. Yeah, so we get that translated in
I'm
Egypt.
familiar.
It's called Mickey in Egypt after Mickey Mouse, and it's been running since 1958, and it's still being published weekly to this day. And this is kind of where everyone starts their comic reading. Like I started with Mickey, and then started reading translations of Batman and Superman, and then eventually started reading the actual the English ones coming from America.
So
And everyone, yeah.
are you saying I shouldn't have started my boy out with Bone and Jeff the Shark comics?
No, both is great, but I mean, get him to read the well, what was it? The life and time of Scrooge McDuck. Scrooge McDuck origin story. I'm trying to remember the full title. It's a long title.
I'm pretty sure you had it right. The Life and Times of Scrooge
The,
McDuck.
the Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. I've got it back here by Don Rosa. I've got the whole collection back here.
I'll be honest, I've been
It's
reading
amazing.
that, and he actually there's in the Circle K, the DC has got little things where they've got comics, and part of me was
Yeah,
like, with him getting into comics, I was like, I at least him once, I at least want him to have an experience of buying a comic not in a comic book store. And he ended up picking up the Batman and Scooby Doo mysteries, you know what I mean? And I was like, that's good. We've been enjoying it and reading it too. Plus, he's picked up some SpongeBob at the book fair at his school. So, I mean, it's
yeah.
definitely something that's encouraging him to read a good deal. But you say you guys don't have comic book stores. They're just at the newsstands. And, like, do you have spinner racks still? Is that what you're telling me?
I think we used to have. Well, I mean, we didn't have spinner racks for comics because we didn't get all the titles. When I was a kid, we used to only get Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man, and that's like the Americans, the stuff coming from America. Occasionally X-Men every now and then, but like none of the Image stuff. All of that is stuff I knew about through like when I started using the internet, but I actually never read an Image comic until maybe 10 years ago or something when I started traveling abroad and buying it from stores abroad. So
I'm relating so hard right now. Like I got Pixies, I got Spiroos and Tintins, and
yeah.
And the only way that I had access to American comics were translation through the one company in the entire province. And they weren't even in color, and they would smush them together. Marvel, DC,
yeah, and that's in the UK they do that.
Put it in the grocery store.
I've found out they like if you go to a comic store, you can buy the issues as they come out in America. But if you go to a supermarket or a newsstand, you can buy like an X-Men magazine that has several different X-Men comics cut and put together and like packaged differently, and it's got other stuff like people can send fan art and like it's a magazine. It's basically a magazine for kids. So it's that's what you get in supermarkets and on newsstands. If you want the actual X-Men as it comes out, you have to go to a comic store in order to be able to buy it.
Hmm.
So similar experience in the UK.
That's interesting. So, like, does that magazine include more than one book worth of comic?
Last I checked, because I haven't read these magazines in a while, but last I checked, so they have main X-Men and then Generation X or X Force or something else, and like it would be two separate stories running at the same time.
I don't think they've done Generation X since like the early 2000s.
Generation X. Yeah. I mean, this is old because I got hold of some of them when I traveled. So I'm speaking about something that happened maybe 20 years ago. Or
Okay. Because I was like, I mean, I remember that comic. I remember that comic fondly. I even remember
yeah,
Generation Next, which was the 4-issue Age of Apocalypse series
yeah.
when they did all of that. So I'm a fan, but I was like, part of my brain was like, you telling me they started doing that and I didn't know? That would be intriguing. What was the price cover wise comparable, or did it seem far cheaper to get them that way? I mean, obviously you couldn't get it book for book, though.
I actually don't know the price now, but I was gonna say that's how the UK comics and magazines. So 1000 AD is a magazine that has 3, 4 different stories. So it's kind of they've done the same model with Marvel and DC for the
Oh.
newsstands.
Yeah, it's the same way the Comic-Rama, as I mentioned earlier, used to work.
Yeah,
I mean,
There
that
was even a
was
page so people could contact each other to exchange comics.
yeah,
yeah.
and I remember 2000 AD. I've been a fan. I mean, there's been a lot of great stuff coming from 2000 AD. All right, so with you being in the UK, is there a company in the UK that you're like, I got to draw? Like, are you wanting some Dread? Man, I could see your art style on Dread. That would be nice. I just got to
I'd
point it
love
like,
to work on with 2000 AD actually. I think of it as an institution where a lot of British artists started there and graduated to work with DC and Marvel eventually. I mean, you've got Brian Bolland, you've got Dave Gibbons, you've got Jock. Uh, did Garth Ennis write for 2000 AD? Yeah,
yeah, man, he did some
yeah, yeah,
phenomenal
yeah,
Judge
yeah,
Dredd work.
yeah,
As
yeah,
well as
yeah.
other things. I mean, I couldn't tell you everything Garth did with 2000 AD, but I know that's where I mean that was what he did with 2000 AD was pre-Preacher, The
So,
Boys, him working on Punisher and everything else he
yeah.
did.
So a lot of the big names got their start in 2000 AD. I'd love to work on, and Jock is one of my biggest influences as well. So and he's the like his Dread is the Judge Dredd for me.
Favorite art supply.
Favorite? Well, I work digitally, so
Favorite software.
favorite. I use full. I suppose favorite art supplier is Quality Webster because I use all his brushes.
Hmm.
And True Grit texture supply. I use
Oh,
their
True
textures
Grit.
as well. Yeah, I
Oh.
use their textures all the time. So they are my favorite suppliers. I use Photoshop. Uh, I've been wanting to give Clip Studio a try for some time,
If
but
you need advice,
give me advice.
oh man, um, like the way to learn Clip Studio is basically going, what does this do? Because the
Yeah, well,
manual is not helping.
I've tried, like, I've downloaded the software, I've tried, but I realized it's gonna take too much time to learn, and I was doing other stuff at the time. I didn't have like weeks to spend just exploring and learning how to move my flow to Clip Studio. So I thought I'll do it when I'm not doing any work. Just 3 weeks of nothing but uh, playing around to figure out how it works, and that has not happened since.
No, you gotta find some time because I adore this software. Like
Yeah.
if you download the iPhone, well, the mobile version, I should say, because I'm pretty sure they got Android versions. If you download the mobile version, yes, in order to use it to draw, you have to pay, but you can use companion mode for free, and you can program a bunch of tools on your phone
Oh, that's very cool.
and use it on
Put
the
it as
side
a
there, so you can draw with one hand and then
keypad.
choose your tools with the other instead of.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Oh,
That's
I
very
love it.
cool. No, I'm going to find the time at some point to just because Adobe has started, fiddling with AI, which I'm not very happy about.
Yeah, I have opinions about Adobe, but like I said, we're
Yeah.
trying to keep the swearing to a minimum.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we cannot have an AI art discussion over on the questionnaire. Because Larry will be like, look, this is worse to edit than the Haunted Halloween episode was. Because everyone, like, especially if I had Shiro and Mike, yeah, like it'd be like having Samuel L. Jackson and Samuel L. Jackson on the show. All right? That's what it would be like. It would just like, what are they saying? I don't know. All I hear is beeps. Yeah, that's because that was the whole episode after I said AI art. Right? And hey, man, what kind of cereal?
What kind of cereal?
You said you'd do the bowl. Yeah, you're gonna is that
Oh,
how that's
yes.
how you're going. You're going with the bowl of cereal. That's how you're getting around transportation wise. We're gonna start getting those
Brand
up on the
flakes.
website. Yeah?
I'm very like the plain one. What is it called? Flake cornflakes. The normal one. I'm very plain when it comes to cereal taste. So
All right, because he said cornflakes. I was gonna be like, I was gonna say Cheerios, but
Oh, you're
same.
not cheery.
You listen, I'm gonna knock my co-host out tonight. Oh man, I don't know how because Shirley's clearing Canada, but I threaten Canadians. I threaten Canadians often. You would think I was Never mind. Right. Never mind. But what I want you all to do out there, right, is check out the links in the description. There's some phenomenal work. Power Pals, I highly recommend Power Pals. It is a phenomenal story about two guys that were famous at one point. Then, that kind of fell off. They're trying to come back. And how you see one wanting to embrace being a good person and the other is just wanting to be to where he gets clicks on the videos he's putting out, and that's all it becomes. And it's such a contradiction as far as how people can just be looking for fame as opposed to how other people can be trying to just do good. And I love it. I think it's a great story. I think it's a great story that needs to be told in all sincerity because there's a lot of that in modern society. So please click the description, man. Check out Power Pals. Check out Quick Stops. If you are any kind of Kevin Smith fan and you are not reading Quick Stops, what's wrong with you, right? Just right to you, all right? Because you should be reading Quick Stops because it is little pieces from within that universe, and it is hilarious. Beep it out, Larry. I'm gonna say it because that's what it is, and let's be honest, it's Kevin Smith. It deserved an F-bomb. Lord knows he's written enough.
yes.
Yeah, Lord knows he's written way too many, right? Right? So, besides that, though, what I want you to do, right, for Ahmed, if you've enjoyed it, click all the links in the description. Check out some work. It's all there, right? Besides that, though, what else you can do, right, is you can take Ahmed to a Beatles concert. I don't know how you're doing that. I guess resurrect him. Whatever, right? Have them all sit around just chilling, playing for Ahmed. Yeah? Forever. Because now he's been turned into a vampire with an endless supply of bounty. And dude, how do you pronounce the name of that food? Koshiro? Koshira?
Koshari.
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 Koshari. See?
Frustrating.
Yeah.
I don't speak Egyptian. All right?
But you're gonna learn.
Oh, look, I'm
Yeah.
turning Japanese. I really think so. All right, but not really. But them ramen noodles that my girl made homemade were bloody well fire. I think they're actually. You know what? Nobody. I don't know. I enjoy things. I'm sorry. It's a blend over here. It is America, right? But if for some reason Ahmed has bothered you during this, and you have not enjoyed this quest, again, man, why are you here? Why? You've been watching this for a while. What are you doing with your life if you're hate watching things? Please don't. Please don't hate watch and like try to consume real art. And that's all I'll say. But if for some reason you have, and he did, right? What I want you to do is I want you to send a bunch of demons and shapeshifters. How about a bunch of shapeshifters possessed by demons that can then possess him at a later point in time? But first they're going to tie him to a chair, right? Then they're going to man, why all these
I know what's up.
Fashik? See, whatever you.
Yes.
I'm not even. Look, I swear on my life, man.
Should have spoken more French on
there
that
you go.
interview.
There you go. You know what's coming. That's not fair because I already had to do this once. Right after they've tied him up, right? What you do is you have them turn on some Nas X, right? That Old Town Road. Well, they just go 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7 endlessly. Because look, why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. Besides that, right? I want you all to have a happy holidays, right? Happy holidays, and do 3 more things. 1, always give it that thumbs. Wait, up. I didn't get that in frame. 2, always get your comic on. There's even a quick stop out there for you. I promise. Besides that, have a good night, y'all.
Thanks so much for hopping on board and listening to the questionnaire. Keep a listen out to these crazy guys.
The questionnaire.
I missed something.
Like and subscribe.
You're drunk. Go home.
Thanks for checking out the questionnaire.
Don't have a good day. Have a great day.